Today I'm excited to be bringing you a little money management topic called slush funds. Hey there, I'm Jen Ward with Family Finance Success. At Family and Finance Success, my goal is to help you conquer money and family with a fun, focused, and practical approach. Slush funds, or also known as sinking funds, I hear a lot of people who use them but don't call them sinking funds or slush funds, and then I hear a lot of people who absolutely have no idea what they are. So I want to just identify them, tell you what the benefits of having them worked into your budget are, and then hear what you guys think about them and if you use them. So what is a sinking or slush fund? A sinking or slush fund is an account or cash envelope that you label with a distinct purpose, and you kind of put money in every single month. It's that basic. So for us, we have a bunch of sinking or slush funds. We have a Christmas, a vacation, we have one for the boys, we have one for a down payment on a house, we have one for just anything that you think that you want to kind of set money aside for, but doesn't have to necessarily be a budget line item. And we have found this to be really, really helpful and saving money. And this doesn't have to come out of your direct pay either. These slush funds and sinking funds, they can come out of extra money that you get just every now and then. It doesn't necessarily matter how you fund them. Some people consistently put them in as a budget line item. Some people just kind of use any extra money they get and fill the envelopes with. Now, you can have these either in a cash system or you can have them in an electronic banking system. The thing you would do differently here is that you would either set up an Excel spreadsheet and have one separate savings account for, all of your slush funds, or you would open several different savings accounts and have each one labeled a different thing. I know people that do it both ways, and the only thing that is a little tricky with that one account with all of them broken down is if you're not good at record keeping. And if you're not good at keeping kind of track of what money is what, I would highly suggest just opening up a couple of different savings accounts. So that way you know that this savings account is for a home down payment, this one is for vacation, and this one is for Christmas or whatever it may be. And also, whenever you're doing that, make sure that there are no hidden fees with savings accounts at banks. One of the reasons that we choose to use a cash system for our sinking fund is because our banks around here have $100 sometimes minimum for their savings accounts, and a lot of the times that's not the case. We might get to 100 eventually, but we might start with $5 or $10. So I always think that it's good to keep it in cash if you can. Also then, if for some reason one day you have an emergency come up and you have to break into those, which is I don't suggest, but if it does happen, you've already used your emergency fund, and that's kind of the next case scenario, then you're not taking the money out and then accruing a fee on top of that. So I would just check with your banks locally. Maybe you have a great bank that you're working with and they don't have any fees for less than $100. That's just something, a personal choice. The advantages to having a sinking fund there's a bunch of them. Number one, you're setting up that determination and willpower and habit of saving. And sometimes it's $5, a penny, $100. That's really up to what your budget will allow, but you get into that habit. The next thing is that you're setting goals, and those goals, when you keep doing that and you reach it, that gives you motivation to keep on going with creating the sinking funds and sticking to a budget. And then third, you get the things that you want, which, I think is a really good reason to create these sinking funds. Even if it takes a year, eventually you know that you will have enough money to not buy something on credit and you'll get what you want. So I think that's awesome. Sinking funds are also really great for when you are trying to come up with a large sum of money. They just help keep that little motivation that you put $100 in each month, or you put in $20 each month, and eventually you're going to get to that bigger goal. And it helps you just track things better, having everything in one savings account. So I always suggest people to have the emergency funds set away somewhere, which is usually $1,000. And then if they have a regular savings account, just for everyday savings account for whatever reason, that they have that. But then they also have these sinking funds. You might be thinking, that's just way too many accounts for me to keep track of. It's really simple if you, like I said, if you keep that cash system. But if you're using the banks, you most of the times can go in and kind of tell your bank what you want those savings accounts labeled as, and then you just get a basic Excel spreadsheet or a notebook and keep track of it that way. So I hope that this answers some questions about slush funds and sinking funds. Again, the idea is that you just keep on putting money into it. That's why they call it a sinking fund. This is not the same thing as a rainy day fund. And if you have questions about that, leave them in the comments and I will do a video on that as well. I hope this was helpful and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.